But we never quite had the same relationship after that. I embarrassed him so bad. He never quite forgave me of that one. There are two type of people in the world. Those that call themselves not morning people, like I'm not a morning person.
Stanley, wake up! It's pretzel day!
And then there is those of us that tolerate people that call themselves that. And the reason I say that is because I learned at a relatively young age that being a morning person is a choice. And not only is it a choice, it's the right choice.
All right.
I got a paper out at, let's just call it 11 or 12 years old. I'm not sure when it was. It was pretty early.
Well, I think it had to have been a little older than that because part of the time you was driving the car.
Well, I know we had it for years, but I don't think so. I don't know in the beginning. Let's call it 13. How about that? Because I got my license. In Kansas, you get your license at 14, a restricted license. So let's just call it 13. It was every morning, 365 days of the year. And when I mean every morning, I mean every morning. Christmas Day, Thanksgiving Day. The only difference between Thanksgiving Day and Christmas Day and then the rest of the year was that's when the biggest papers came. Last year.
Ah, thank you.
Every morning, no matter what, doesn't matter how cold it is, and it gets cold in Kansas. Somehow, if nothing else ran, the paper ran every morning. So at 4:30 in the morning, we had to be up to gather the papers out that ended up on our front porch every morning, got delivered there, and then we'd have to put them together and deliver them. And it was so tough to get up every day at 4:30 in the morning, especially when you're 13, 14 years old, You like the money, but is it really a priority? And so after a while, I had watched enough,
A motivational speaker.
I guess, self-help gurus and was aware of the power of,
His speech is called Go For It.
affirmations, transformative talk, that kind of thing.
And I am a motivational speaker.
That if I clapped my hands together and said, today is going to be a good day, that I may not believe myself at the beginning, but eventually I could talk myself into it. So I remember those first few days that I'd wait, the alarm would go off or you'd wake me up and, today is going to be a good day. And then by about week 3 or 4, today's going to be a good day. And it changed my whole mindset about getting up in the morning.
Get the world by the tail and wrap it around and pull it down and put it in my pocket.
And it turned me into a morning person to the point where I'm still today. I don't sleep much past 6, 7 o'clock. Ever. I don't know how to talk to people that say I'm not a morning person.
That you're not going to amount to jack squat.
Well, how do you know you're not a morning person? Have you ever gotten up early? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think everybody has a clock inside, and you sometimes you're not aware of this, but in my first church, I experienced this one family, and I'll not call their name, but you could count on them. I mean, whether it's Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, any other committee meeting or anything.
They're always late.
They're always late. They'd be about 5 minutes late.
Yeah.
Now, they would deny it and would have denied it, but they program themselves to do that.
Yep.
In the same way that some folks program themselves to arrive right on time, and some folks program themselves to arrive 5 minutes early. They may not think that.
How can we get back on the right track?
So much, especially the folks that are late. They're always thinking, well, this came up or that came up, but no, they made choices. I mean, I was there for 3 years, and that they never varied. They were always late.
Isn't that interesting? And it never occurs to them, well, and I know people inevitably say to them that when you get ready 5 minutes early. And it wouldn't matter if they did. That wasn't the problem. The problem was their mindset. Mm-hmm. No matter what time they got ready, they were going to show up 5 minutes late.
You know, the Bible says about that, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And so we got a little old clock down there going on, or something or other, or in our head or wherever, that says, okay, it's time to go, or whatever. These days, I'd like to get places just a little tiny bit early.
Right.
And my wife is someone who likes to get there just right on time. She doesn't want to be there 2 minutes early. She wants to be there just right on time. You know?
Both are okay. But when you start showing up I worked in a restaurant for several years, and inevitably the same guy would show up late every day. Same thing, show up late. Well, the owners would tolerate us or the managers would tolerate a certain bit until they really were aware of it. They kind of let us figure out that stuff on our own. If we wanted to bully a person into quitting, we would bully him or stuff like that. But I remember saying to him one time, I said, I can't remember his name. Let's call him Joe. I said, Joe, do you think a loser shows up 15 minutes late?
That you're not going to amount to jack squat!
Or 15 minutes early to work every day? And he said, well, late? I said, I want you to think about that tomorrow. Are you going to be a loser or are you going to be a winner? He didn't show up late again.
In college, I think you had a similar experience as you've related to us. You were an older student in college than your most of your classmates.
No, not because I used to drive a semi across the road. I've said that several times, but I just to give a little deal here. When I was about 21, 22 years old, I'd been driving for a couple of years. I called Dad and said, Dad, I can do this for the rest of my life, but I don't want to. He said, well, you ever thought about my alma mater? Sold. So I went to college as a freshman at 22 years old. So go ahead.
Well, and I remember you're speaking about this some class that you were in where this fellow kept coming to class late, and you spoke to him one day when he came in that he was insulting the teacher and the rest of the class.
Yeah.
By his being late.
Yeah.
And I think after that he probably wasn't late anymore.
I think so. I kind of remember that, but I probably had more than one conversation with somebody. That never bothered me at all. And it's true. I mean, you're just being disrespectful. I don't think he intended to be disrespectful, and maybe he just wasn't quite self-aware. And some professors at the college we went to in particular, they didn't want to say anything. I don't know if, some professors would tell you, don't even bother coming in. And, I mean, they have every right to do that. And some had the aspect of, well, it's their dime. They'll use it the best they could. Maybe they graded them a little harsher than they would the rest of them. But anyways, it was disrespectful. It wasn't only disrespectful to the teacher. It put us in an awkward position of letting this moron come in late every day. And so, yeah. Eventually what I'm talking about is attitude. I remember one time I was in high school, and there was a science professor. His name was Colaw. He also was one of our assistant football coaches. We came up for class one time for it was a chemistry lab. And before we even started the class off, we just sat down, we're all fine, ready to go, ready to learn. He says to us, I don't want to, you better not give me any crap today. I just had a terrible, I just had a terrible hour or something like that with the other class before him, which was no fault of ours. And I said to him, well, who gives a shit? Do your job. And he sent me right off to the principal's office. Inevitably, the principal ended up agreeing with me. I think they called you, and you said, well, yeah, he's right. But we never quite had the same relationship after that. I embarrassed him so bad. He never quite forgave me of that one. But that takes some gall, We just walk in. That's some female stuff, You don't even know why you're in trouble. You're just in trouble. And no, we start afresh every hour. I understand you got other problems with maybe at home or something. We'll be a little less tolerant if your wife died or something. But just because another class gave you some crap, it's not our fault. It's not our problem.
Okay, all right, okay. And listen, could you picture how God might enter into that? We start giving excuses, making excuses to him for this, that, and the other.
Well, God was with me every time I did that.
Yeah, but I'm talking about when we're one-on-one with God and shooting our excuses to him.
Yeah, well,
I don't know if God ever tells folks, "Oh, just put a sock in it."
yeah, who cares?
Uh-huh.
I mean, so what?
Or I could picture maybe God might say, "So you thought I cared?"
Yeah, so what? I mean, that could be said about a lot of things. When people show up late to work, that I have this problem. So what? What does that matter? Why are you late?
Well, and it all comes under the category of growing up. I mean, that's what we attribute to growing up. But of course, I talked about that other family that's always late. Well, they'd not grown up in that particular area of their lives. No one had really. I never said anything to them about it, and I suspect no one else did either.
That's why they kept doing it.
Yeah.
I just said something.
Okay. Okay.
All
All right, David. Yes, that's okay.
Wrapping it up.